Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Ronsley and you are in the right place. This is my AI love affair. And today we're talking with Rod Santomassimo, who has helped over 4,000, you heard that right, over 4,000 commercial real estate agents in North America. He's the best-selling author of multiple books, just released his fourth book. He is a legend, a podcaster, just got into AI, just completed 60. And he talks to us about how he uses AI in his business and how he looked at ChatGPT and decided that he was going to go all in on it. Enjoy the episode. Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to this podcast, My AI Love Affair. Consider this podcast your digital compass, guiding you through the labyrinth that is business growth using artificial intelligence. Running a business as a creative can sometimes be like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But what if you had a secret tool that could align all the colors for you? That is AI. It's like a master key unlocking multiple doors. Thanks for being here. Let's learn. Ladies and gentlemen, Massimo-group.com is where you're going to find all the cool stuff that Rod's up to. Let me start with this part because I think it's important. You've gotten into AI. What kind of results have you gotten and what has that been like?
Well, first of all, it's so new. It hasn't been financial return on results. Yeah, there have been, but it's still so new. I had a friend said, Rod, get on Zoom right now. And I said, sure. He goes, watch this. And he showed me ChatGPT. And this is very important for your audience to understand. I am 59, about to be 60. And I recognized right then the world had changed. I knew it immediately. Everything we do with our clients needs to change. And more importantly, I need to dive into AI as deep as possible on everything I could possibly learn and understand so I can not be left behind. So I think it's important, if everyone has to understand, you need to jump in the deep end, right in right now. And I immediately hired a developer. We built our OpenAI platform for Massimo. Yes, ChatGPT is an amazing tool, but I want to build things that are private to Massimo and not out in public. ChatGPT is a public forum. So whatever you put in there, it's public. I don't want to do that. So we're building inside all our coaching methodologies. We're not there yet. We'll be there in 3 months, but our clients' experience will be vastly different. Instead of doing the work that we ask them to do, we'll do it for them. And we'll coach them and help them implement it in a faster pace and a better pace. I've gotten 3 speeches in the past 2 weeks in national conferences. Rod, you're Aussie commercial real estate brokerage AI guy. I'm like, well, okay. And I've always gotten speeches, always, and which is nice, but I've never landed a keynote speech. So now I'm doing keynote speeches to the national conference in Chicago next month, all about AI. Yesterday, I was invited to the biggest association in commercial real estate called SAOR. And they said, Rod, you're the guy to talk about this. And we did a webinar for hundreds and hundreds of people across the globe about AI. I created a quick 5-week introduction to ChatGPT. We sold, 100 seats at $1,000, $100,000, and something I learned 4 weeks ago. Yeah. That's not bad.
Not bad at all. Wow. I want to know, what did you see in that first initial share screen conversation that made the penny drop? What was it that you actually saw?
Well, you're an engineer, so you know how things are built and you know the process that goes into building a bridge, and everything we work with is based on process, a marketing process, a prospecting process. And so I saw this immediately as an accelerant to everything we do. That was the one thing I saw right there. This is going to make things almost instantaneous. It's going to change everything as far as timing. And recognize from a process standpoint, not only can I build a process in seconds, I can implement the process in seconds that would take months to do. So to me, it was speed. It was pure speed.
Fascinating. And I also want to ask this question. What are your clients saying now as a result of dipping their toe in AI?
There's definitely those that don't believe yet. And they're saying, rightfully so in many ways, just out. I'm not diving in yet. I'm waiting. Mistake. I'm waiting to see what happens. Mistake. It's not always right. But the clients that have adapted and followed, they've already written me 2 weeks into program saying, oh my goodness, this changes everything. They recognize what is now available to them that has never been available before. So Ron, let me give you an example. This is AI today, but so let's say I want to come to you and you want to sell a building, right? So I would say, okay, let me take the building, let me get it out to the market, let me create all the marketing materials, and then let me call all my investors. And, in 30, 60 days, I'm going to come to you with a portfolio of offers and we'll make a decision. 30 days from now, the Fed's going to increase their rates another quarter of a point, and your building's going to be worth a lot less, right? It just is. It's math. So what about today where I could go to an owner, say, oh, by the way, I've already built out your entire marketing plan, every email, every text, every voicemail dropped. Oh, and once you give me the listing, give me the go ahead. As soon as you say go, I'm going to voicemail drop, email drop, personalized send to 1,000 investors, and I'll have an answer for you within 3 days on qualified offers, and you'll have a better and clear understanding of where you want to go today. Now, when I tell my audience that, they're like, that's not possible, or that no one's going to accept that. That's today, because the interest rate fluctuation, and look, that could be leasing space, that could be going to a printer, that could be anything, any business. It changes everything. And the person that harnesses the power of AI, they don't even need the experience anymore. Just that competitive advantage to say, hey, this is what I could do for you.
And you see the difference in how things are changing and how quickly things are moving. I find that with the algorithm changing, so to give everyone context here, when I first wrote WriteFlow, it was based on DaVinci 003, the algorithm. And the last week, it went to GPT 3.5 Turbo. And in another couple of weeks, it's going to go to GPT 4. And the difference in the return on what it gives back is phenomenal. I'm curious to see or hear your thoughts on accuracy of return of what you're asking it to do.
Yeah, well, no doubt, even Chat GPT 3.5, fast. Yeah, but I believe it's commoditized right now, believe it or not. Because look, if you and I put in the same prompt, we're going to get similar answer. We know that. And you and I have good friends and associates, Amy and Ken, right? And they're really sharing how to humanize chat and how to, more importantly, make chat output your voice, your thoughts, your terms. And that's why I have my own AI system. I'm training it on our methodology. So is it right? No, it even tells you. You should ask ChatGPT, are you always right? It will come back and say, no, I'm not. It will, right? So especially it's not, we all know it's an NLP, right? So it's a language processing tool. It's not a data tool. And that's where you really see the mistakes, glaring mistakes, when you ask it for facts and data.
Well, it brings me to my next question, which is like, what are some of the most common misconceptions, like that one that you just mentioned, about AI that business owners should be aware of, and how can they avoid falling into those traps?
You have to put it in your own voice. You have to learn how to create output and prompts, specifically in chat. Go chat first. That it understands who you are, what you're trying to say, what your voice is. So as Gary Vee stresses, authenticity, that's the most important thing. Well, if you don't work with AI the right way, again, nothing authentic about it. It's just spitting out data. So you have to learn to train it the correct way. You introduced me to an AI platform called Midjourney, and I was so blown away by it, which is, for those who don't know, think of ChatGPT to text. Midjourney is to images, which is one way to think about it. I want to write something, a commercial real estate broker looking at his phone, receiving a text from a prospect, being informed he did not get the listing, and looking both shocked and saddened because that broker really needed this deal very much. And now he was lost with what to do next. The broker's mid-career guy, professionally dressed. I want that image. So I crafted an authentic image. I didn't say, make me a picture of a dude on a phone. That'd be a prompt that you would never say. And so it created this amazing image, and I posted it in social media. That post got so much engagement. People actually said, well, the dude should be buying $5,000 suits. And I had to write back, you do realize that dude's not real. And neither is the suit. So it's just something, look, AI is here. If you can learn how to massage it, you'll be in a beautiful, advantageous position to have an impact. Sure, you'll make more money. Yeah. But you have a bigger impact on your own community.
Let me talk about this because I think it's really important. How would you think about human intelligence versus artificial intelligence, and what roles do they play when they come together?
Well, human intelligence, that's a relationship. I think we never forget, it's the relationship that counts. That's what it is. It's purely the relationship you have with someone else. Human intelligence, emotional intelligence. Now, can I teach AI or can you teach AI to have emotional intelligence? One day you will. We both know that to be true. So I think AI, for as it stands today, is an enhanced Alexa. That's what it is today. It is. It won't replace human intelligence. It won't replace jobs. It won't if you adapt. If you don't, you will be gone from employment. But no, human intelligence to me personally is about the relationship versus artificial. But with that said, I will tell you, I'm working with a developer right now, and he has demonstrated to me he will talk to his computer. The computer will talk back in real time and in tone. He will instruct the computer to do certain things on his computer, move a mouse, do this, send this email, and the computer will do it. And the voice, Ronsley, could easily be my voice. Yep. It could. Right now, I can create an image of me with my lips moving and sound like me with my tone. And unless you look really closely, you won't know it's not me. People may be scared of that, thinking that's coming one day. No, folks, that's here today. It's here today. So relationships, Ronsley, is the difference between that avatar and human intelligence.
Right. Let's talk about advice. I mean, you're looking to be the leader in your space. I love that's your goal. It's very motivating to talk to someone that has these kind of goals. What advice would you give business owners who are considering to implement AI, and what kind of processes should they start getting involved in first?
Yeah, you use the magic word, and that magic word is process, right? So what do you want to create, and why do you want to create it? I chase a lot of things and I build it, and then I say to myself, well, how am I going to use this, right? You can do anything today with AI. You truly can. It's up to your imagination, and you're the king of creation, Ronsley. So you have this subconscious confidence of what's possible. People generally don't have that ability. But you can use your I want this to happen. This can happen. But why do you want that to happen? Find out why first, right? I mean, the process that you want to complete, and tell me, what does the end game look like? What does success look like? If I couldn't answer that question, we didn't even talk about it, the concept, the theory. So if you can articulate what does success look like, then wait, just wait.
It's a huge point, because part of computer science, and it's really fascinating how we're taking a lot of things for granted right now, including walking into a room and being able to change the temperature to how we feel comfortable, right? We just take that for granted. And the same is with AI. We assume that it's going to just give us the right answer. And that's what's happening, is people are kind of outsourcing the work and forgetting that they need to kind of put the intellect into what they are trying to ask it to do. Because the basic of computer science is good input plus good process equals good output. And you only know it's good output because you're the one programming it to know what the output is meant to look like. And if you don't get those three components right, then you can't program anything. It just doesn't work that way. So just because AI has come along, it doesn't mean that it's going to do all that for you. So I'm curious to hear some of the things that you mentioned earlier when people were saying to you, Rod, you're going in too deep. This is not the future. What kind of resistance were you coming up against, and what were those blocks that people had?
Well, first it's me, right? I always have been a shiny object guy, right? And so it's just another thing that Rod's chasing, right? That's just it. Someone asked me the other day what my strength was. And I said, I always think big. I always am thinking, what's next? This isn't good enough. My industry, sadly, very sad, it's changing. Like many industries, my industry is characterized by older white guys who are set in their ways and doing things a certain way, right? And this is how it's always been done. This is how it always will be. If we do it this way, it's all we need, right? Well, that's the resistance factor. It just is. So an exciting time, Ronsley. It's so exciting right now. I wish I was 20 years old. I really do. I never wanted that before. I'm like, I love my life. I love being where I am. But now I'm like, man, if I was only 20, I can imagine the next 40 years will be like, and what we'll be doing. It's incredible.
I wish the same thing. I wish I had this kind of experience, 20 years ago. The kind of beast that would be just like insane. So I can imagine what you would be, Rod, with all these years of experience.
I'm going to ask you a question because you said we're going to talk about being MBAs. Do you think today an MBA is still valuable based on what's available in self-learning?
I think academia has a very important place in a child's development. And the reason I'm saying this, Rod, is because I've been in a room with people who diss academia because they've not been through it and they've kind of jumped the gun and gone into thing, and they don't have the same neural connections that I have. They don't. They just don't. And the reason for that is academia is slow and it's built on platform, like one concept over the other. You can't jump to engineering 401 if you don't do 101. You can't do engineering mathematics 2.0 if you don't do 1.0. You will not get it. It won't make sense. And you can't understand how a computer functions if you don't have the basics of physics and mathematics, which is what computer science is based on. And that's just the fact. So what academia does is it creates these base layers on which we keep building knowledge and keep making connections. And you might go out and learn and do something and learn all that, but you won't understand the theory and the reasons for all that happening. And even if you do, it'll be very, very small alignment. The fact that academia allows you to do it over time, and maybe the methods are not as great, and because, standardized testing, I don't agree with that. I think there are other ways to test. But the way academia allows us to layer one piece of information over the other is really important. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Oh, I completely agree. And not just in academia, but think in all learning going forward. And this is where AI will not be replaced. It just will not be. It's not simply, my last book, Knowing Isn't Doing, the good fortune to be the #1 sales book in America when it was launched, because there's a title, Knowing Isn't Doing. AI is knowing. That's what it is. But you have to build on each of those steps to understand it and apply it correctly. Any coaches out there listening to this podcast, coaching won't go away. Your methodologies, if built correctly, build upon one another. And like Ronsley just shared, you need to understand and implement each step and create those neurons and grow and learn.
Hey, AI Geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI Geeks by going to aigeeks.co/Discord. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI geek. Until then, much love.